organizers now calling for a nationwide day of no school, no work, and no shopping across the country. Live images showing demonstrators braving the brutal cold in Minneapolis as massive protests are taking place against ICE. And just a short bit ago, ABC station WTVD in North Carolina captured aerials of a large crowd gathering in Durham. All of this in response to continued tensions across the country after the fatal shootings of Renee Good and Alex Preddy. Deputy AG Todd Blanche also now confirming that the Justice Department will indeed launch a civil rights investigation into the killing of Preddy. And Attorney General Pam Bondi announcing the arrest of former CNN host Don Lemon, who was let go by the network back in 2023 in connection with an anti-ICE protest at a church in St. Paul, where one of the pastors also works as an ICE official. Our Matt Rivers is there on the ground in Minneapolis and joins us now. So, Matt, what are things like on the ground right now?
Well, we're hearing chants of strike right now. That's the latest protest chant here, Kira, because the idea is with these ICE out protests, people staying home from work, people staying home from school, the idea is to send a message to authorities, be it economic, be it civil, that this is not okay, that what's going on in their communities is not okay, and they want it to end. We saw a protest just like this one week ago, last Friday, in this same area. The spirit of protest here in Minneapolis has always been strong, but it remains strong at this point, even though we are weeks into this continued DHS operation. People are certainly listening to the fact that there is new leadership of the federal operation on the ground, and I think that the conversations that I've had after listening to Border Czar Tom Homan, who's now running things here, say we're going to do more targeted enforcement. People here are saying we'll believe it when we see it. You know, they're hopeful, but they're skeptical at the same time.
All right, and what more do we know about these arrests involving Don Lemon and also protesters at the church there on the ground? What do we know about the charges they're facing?
Yeah, so Don Lemon, had been saying for a while that he thought he might eventually get charged. You know, he gave some interviews where he was talking about the fact that he felt like he was going to get charged and that this was inevitable because he was a target of the administration. And so basically what he's being accused of is depriving people of their rights and also a crime connected to entering a place of worship. Whether those charges stick or not remains to be seen. You know, the first time these judges were brought before a magistrate judge, he basically threw them out saying there was no validity there. And so, you know, even though he has been indicted by a grand jury in this case, that's very common in federal cases. It's very rare that a grand jury doesn't return an indictment, no matter the eventual result of the case. So we're just going to have to see how this plays out. But Lemon's lawyer saying he intends to vigorously fight this in court, and you can imagine that the other defendants will do the same thing.